This is a quick explainer video on the Bestop eTop, also known as the Ford Power Soft Top. Bestop is selling it to Ford white label in the Ford accessories website, and it's installed by Ford dealers. That's how I got mine. But if you order it through Bestop, you're simply going to use Bestop's installers. So this isn't really a DIY install anymore. It's supposed to be unlabeled if it's sold through Ford, but mine still came with the Bestop label on it. Now, this top, much higher quality, much higher quality than the original soft top that comes on the Broncos. It's 9 layers of material and sound deadening and insulation. So you're going to find that it's quieter than even the factory hard top. Very high quality. The inside is surfaced with like an ultra suede finishing all through. You cannot see the cross members in the soft top. Very fast, very quiet, outstanding top. This is by far the best top that Ford puts on a Bronco at this point. So the sides and back do come off, but this top is so meticulously put together that you can come in and there's a zipper across the top. You can unchannel it from the sides and remove the sides and the back. But I think at the end of the day, they've built that to such tight parameters that that's going to take even longer than the original factory top to do. I would just drop the top. You can run it with like a bimini top underneath. The bimini tops from Bestop will work with this top, as well as I think some of the others. So my original mounting hardware for a gear shade is still in there. So the gear shade philosophically should work as well. This is the interior of the Bestop eTop. As you look at it, this is like an ultra suede. Almost feels like an Alcantara leather, but it's like an ultra suede, man-made materials. Everything is finished inside with that. Very high quality, like a high-end sports car. The other big difference as you look in the sides, there is no daylight. So there are some pretty famous videos of the original factory top having some issues with snow that's blowing sideways and a Bronco or two that were gathering snow overnight. This will not do that. This one is sealed tight. It has 9 layers of material and insulation and sound deadening. So it's going to be more quiet than the hard top Broncos from the factory. So how does it work? From the inside, you pop these 2 levers, just pop them down, and then your switch is going to be right here in the center console, right? Looks like a factory install. Just press that switch and you're opening. It's that simple. If you had the factory soft top for the Bronco, one of the things that most owners wish for is a full open access to the cargo area. Well, with this eTop, you have an advantage, because with the eTop, you can now open up that whole cargo area. So zipper there. Sorry, doing this one-handed. Zipper there. This now pulls out, simple, and flips up on top. Now you've got full open cargo access. If you find that your eTop motors have frozen and the top will not function, you can go manual with it by removing this cover. There are 2 bolts on the bottom and 1 bolt on the back. The bolts on the bottom are 13 millimeter, though a 1/2 inch socket will work. You need a short socket, not the one out of your Bronco toolkit. One in the Bronco toolkit is too long, but a short 13 millimeter or 1/2 inch. And then the bolt on the back is a 5/32 Allen wrench or hex wrench. Once you get in here, there's a bolt right up here at the top that if you remove this bolt, the motor will slide off on both sides, and then you can move the top manually, latch it in place, get home, and then get it in for your warranty repair. Okay, so here's some additional notes on the Bestop eTop, otherwise known as the Ford Power Soft Top through Ford Accessories. It was originally developed by a company called MyTop. And MyTop had taken the time to put together just an outstanding quality top, and they were fine-tuning it. And then Bestop came along and I believe bought the whole company, not just the product line. So Bestop took it over, they took it in and tweaked a couple of things that MyTop was still working on, and then we're ready to bring it to market. Bestop then went to Ford and said, we can white label this for you and you can call it whatever you want, but we'll supply the finished package and then your dealerships can install it. So Bestop set up not only the manufacturing process for that white labeled Ford product, but also a full support system. And I'll try to include the number here, but a full support system with a direct line to a department and installers and technicians that all they do is work on this Power Soft Top to get the installs right. So Bestop has its own line of dealerships, and those dealerships do installs if you buy it through Bestop. Ford sells it on fordaccessories.com. That might not be the exact address. Anyway, it's the Ford Accessories website. You can buy it through there, and then when it's delivered to your dealer, they schedule an install. The Ford website has it priced slightly higher for the top, but then the install they have priced at only $700. I think when you put them side by side, Bestop installed at their dealers versus Ford installed at their dealers, probably comes out pretty close at the end of the day. And either way, you have a 3-year warranty on this top. Anything breaks in 3 years, you should be covered. What I will say is, though, the quality of the top is light years beyond either factory top that Ford puts on a Bronco. So I would expect this thing to go 3 years or more and never have a problem. The mechanism is hardy and well built. The top is hardy and well built. If you have the factory cloth top, that's a layer and a half. It's a layer with a liner. And it's very thin and not that hardy. And mine made it 4 years on that one. The hard tops have their own issues. This top is by far, by light years, the best top that Ford is currently putting on a Bronco. It's 9 layers of material and sound deadening and insulation. You drive this thing down the road, you're not hearing any of the noise that you're used to hearing from the soft top and probably from the hard top. So very high quality, about 14 seconds to lower it, about 14 seconds to raise it. You don't have to remove the side panels or back panel anymore to do that. So very fast and efficient. You could do it at a stoplight. All you have to do is have your foot on the brake. The engine can be off and the key in the on position, or the engine can be running and your foot on the brake, even in drive with your foot on the brake, and that top will operate. Work the latches up front, release them, hit the button, and you're good in seconds. So for us, it's much more usable than the original factory soft top. The sides and back do come off. If you wanted to drive this top in a safari mode with the top up but the sides and back off, you can do that. After a long conversation with the technicians at Bestop, while it can be done, it'll take you longer than it would to remove the sides and back on the factory top. Basically, at the end of the day, just hit the button and drop the top. So while you can do it, I don't know that it's totally recommended. You can run the bimini tops underneath it, leave them on. So Bestop has a couple of tops, bimini tops. All of my mounting gear for my gear shade that I used with the previous soft top is still in there. And there's nothing in the way. So it's very plausible that the gear top, mesh top, would work as well, and which means there's probably a number of others that would. So you have to kind of take it on a case-by-case basis. If, for some reason, unexpectedly, one or both of the motors freeze, and that top is part way up or even all the way down and rain is coming, you can remove the covers in the back in the cargo area, and I have part of that video in there. You can remove those covers, get to the motors, remove the bolt just above the motors, and then those slide off. Those motors, though, the original spec for those was a Bosch convertible top motor made for companies like Mercedes. They are made for 10,000 plus cycles comfortably. And I wouldn't imagine there would be a problem with those, but push come to shove, you can pull those covers off, slide the motor off on both sides, and then you can work that soft top manually. The original specs from MyTop had some sort of storage envelope built into the top to hold the sides and back. I think at the end of the day, they and Bestop and now Ford all decided that that's building something in that'll probably never get used for what it's meant to be used for. And if you put too much weight in there, you're going to start pulling down the headliner and lowering it. It's going to look bad and people are not going to be happy. So there is no storage built into the top at this point. 3-year warranty, easy use, great sound deadening. The insulation, we're in summertime now, but I would imagine even in the winter, insulation is fantastic. Outstanding top. We have no complaints. Now let me tell you the best part. This is the part that we teased all the way up there at that title page. I got mine for free. Here's how I did it. So I was coming up on the end of my factory warranty, and I have the extended warranty, but coming up in the end of the factory warranty, and I'm poking around, and I haven't used my warranty for anything on my Bronco yet. So I figured, okay, let's see if there's anything I could maybe get them to cover. And so went into the dealer and said, listen, the soft top, the factory one, is not fitting quite right. You know, like the Velcro's not lining up, and you know, it was not operating as it should. And so the service writer put it in for a replacement, and then she got transferred off to another department, and the service department manager took over. It sat around in an inbox for a while, didn't really get handled. In the meantime, Bestop and Ford put this deal together, and now this top is on Ford accessories, which means the dealer can buy it as a part. Here's the interesting thing. When he put in the original top replacement with the factory top, he said Ford doesn't sell a complete soft top kit, not a complete box with a complete soft top. You can only get that when you buy the Bronco, apparently. So if he goes to do a warranty replacement, he has to buy every individual part of the soft top separately, and then they have to have an assembly project to build it and then put it on the Bronco. The cost for the parts in that project to buy all of the original OG soft top replacement parts, $15,000. So I went back to him and I said, hey, listen, that's crazy. How about we make it easier on everybody? You can put the power top on, which is usually much more expensive. You can put the power top on for a fraction of the cost. It's only on your website, $5,500 retail, and you probably get a better price than that, right? So you can save money. Ford saves money depending on how they build it. Who knows? Maybe they build the whole $15,000. But however they did it, they approved the power soft top to come in as a replacement for the OG factory soft top. And so now I've got a much more capable top, an outstanding top, far outperforms either of the factory tops. This is a top that they should be mounting on every Bronco coming out of the factory. And it's got a 3-year warranty from here. So if it ends up that you're trying to get a factory soft top replaced under warranty, find out how they're billing it for the replacement. If they're doing it as each individual separate part of the soft top, go to the service manager at your dealership and say, boy, have I got a deal for you, and see if they will also approve this power soft top for you. you owe me a beer if that works, but it worked for me. So there you go. Best deal going on a Ford soft top. Go for it. Any questions, shoot me a note. Happy to answer them. Very pleased. Wouldn't have wanted it to work out any other way. All the best. Bye.